Alright, hey there everybody, I'm here with another game today. It's gonna be a Terran versus Protoss, and this is an arranged game between me and my friend Adam here. And I thought this was a pretty good game, so I figured I'd bring it to you guys. And I know I haven't done a game in quite a while actually, but I guess I'm not really sure what to say about that other than I haven't really found any games I felt like bringing or casting to anyone. Mainly, like, I've been playing a lot of team games. I haven't done very many solo games since release, but this is a good one, I thought. So hopefully we'll bring more games to you in the future. But for now, I'm actually playing as Protoss, and usually I'm playing as Terran. But this is actually just a practice game with my friend here. He said he wanted to learn Terran a little better. So I just picked random and I ended up getting Protoss, which you may have seen at the start of the video. I told him that I was playing Protoss, even though I picked random. The reason I told him is just because we discussed it in advance. I'm not really trying to use random to help me out in gaining an advantage so he doesn't know what race to play. I'm telling him that I'm Protoss, and he can do a build that he would normally do in a Terran versus Protoss just to sort of help his game out. And me as well. I mean, I don't think I've ever done a ladder game as Protoss. I always just pick Terran. So I'm doing a little bit of learning here as well, but I did already have a strategy, or a few strategies in mind, depending on what kind of unit composition he picks. So as you can see, I'm just scouting in the base right now as well. He has his scouting SCV in my base. Pretty standard openings, not a whole lot to say here. I'm just seeing that he is not going any kind of Reaper build. He's already pumping out a Marine, he's grabbed his Orbital. He's at 16 supply, I'm at 17, so that says to me that he's just playing standard, so I don't have to worry about Reapers at the moment. And I'm just taking the tower here because we are in the cross positions, so this tower will give me a lot of advance warning of whether he's going to move out or not. I will mostly just be talking about my perspective here, so if you're a Protoss player and you're having trouble with Terran, hopefully I can help you out. I'm just chasing around the SCV right now with my one probe. It's not really all that effective because as long as he keeps moving it, I won't be able to do anything about it. I'm just grabbing Warp Gate Research, of course, right as my Cybernetics core comes up. And I'm chrono boosting out that first Stalker just because it helps me get rid of the scouting SCV. It's debatable whether I should have actually chrono boosted that, since we've already scouted that Reapers are not coming. It's not necessary to chrono boost out the Stalker, since all it's really doing is warding away that scouting SCV. Now also, if we go to my view here, I can see that there's a Marauder and a Marine moving out across the map, and which is why I have reacted by chrono boosting out another Zealot and of course building another Stalker. Now here comes another Marine. I can still see this thanks to having the tower. And I know they're going to be down here somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where yet. I'm chrono boosting out that Stalker, of course. I'm trying to see if I can maybe spot them coming in there, but I can't, unfortunately. Now I just got a glimpse of that Marine there that you could see. So I know he's down here somewhere, and he's trying to build a proxy bunker outside my base. So it's smartest to get the SCV first, just so that bunker has no chance of finishing. And of course I am microing away my Zealot there because he'll stand no chance against that Marauder. And now that push is dealt with. So my warp gate is almost done, and I'm doing an opener with a 2-gate robo, which I think is fairly strong in this case. I'm also grabbing my expansion now that I've warded off that mini attack. And warp gate is done, so I can get my warp gates going. And the reason I like the 2-gate robo is because I can get out an observer right away, and I really need to see what's up here. And what I missed that just happened right here is I moved my probe from there and I tried to get some scouting information up here, but he had some of his Marines and Marauders on the high ground that just picked off my probe right away. So I'm still in the dark as to what exactly he's doing, but if he does just push out with Marines and Marauders without medvacs at this point, I should be okay with just a solid mix of Stalkers and Zealots. Probably should have some Sentries mixed in here as well, which would be helpful for the Guardian Shield and strong force field play. And I'm just telling him that I saw his little Marauder push coming here because I had the tower, and I told him that because, again, we're just practicing trying to both get better, so I'm just reminding him that he should check the towers when he's doing when you're doing an early push. Always check the towers, because the reason that didn't work is because I saw that coming. I probably wouldn't have chrono boosted out those extra couple units you saw me do there. So I do have my first observer out on the field, and I should be moving that into his base shortly, as well as transferring some of my probes from my main over to my natural here. So I'll have fairly good saturation at my next base already, which will be helpful. And one thing I missed here is I grabbed the Twilight Council already, and I'm researching Zealot legs because they're extremely effective against Terran bio. So any Protoss player, I suggest that you do that. Try and get those Zealot legs out as early as possible. So my observer here, I just scouted. I see 3 barracks, a factory, and a starport, and I can see the swap going. So as you can see by the little mini army down here, that I'll switch it to this view. You can see that he's mainly just doing a Terran bio build, which is pretty common in Terran vs Protoss, that they just go bio. I've seen that quite a bit in videos I've watched and my experience playing. So I also noticed that he has his expansion coming up here, and I'll be transferring that shortly, so it's only a little bit later than mine. And I can see that the Ghost Academy is going down here, which is good to know. So another indicator that he's doing some sort of bio build, because I don't think Mech Ghost is terribly common. So I see him moving out there, and I'm not quite sure exactly what his plans are. You can see him coming down here as well, since I do have this tower, although I didn't realize it in time, as I am going to lose that probe there. So I know he has medvacs coming, because that's really the smartest thing to build with that starport with reactor. And I reacted by building pylons at different areas of my base so that I have some sight as to whether a drop's coming. And I've also thrown up a Templar Archives and chrono boosting out Storm, as well as an armor upgrade. And the reason I chose the armor upgrade is because when you're against Marines, especially, like right now he does have the +1 weapons, but if you didn't have the +1 weapons and you got the +1 armor, Zealots they already have the 1 armor, so they'll only take 4 damage from the Marine attacks. But if you get the Guardian Shield as well, you can see here that it reduces range damage by 2. So now all of a sudden Marines are only going to do 2 damage to your Zealots that are under +1 armor and Guardian Shield, which is extremely helpful. Even when stimmed, it still would take 50 attacks with no shields to take down a Zealot, which is very important. And you can see he missed a scan here. I don't think he really sees much. Well, it's too late to see now. But I'm keeping my army in my base at the moment, and I have an observer over here as another warning indicator as to whether an in-base drop is coming. And the reason I'm keeping my army in my base is because I do have this tower over here. So if you just try and push my front door, I'll be able to see his army coming. And I'm just scouting around with his observer. You can see the pathing here. It wouldn't be very smart to sneak a base over on this side, but I am trying to look around to see if maybe he has tried to sneak another expansion somewhere. And I'm a little supply blocked here, which is why I'm throwing down the 4 pylons and extra gateways, as I am on 2 bases. And the Kydarian Amulet is almost done, and that should be familiar to you Protoss players, as that will give high temp 75 starting energy, which is exactly enough to use Psystorm. And now I see his army coming out here. It's a fairly sizable force, and he does take out my probe when I get him